Thanks very much, everybody. Yeah, wow. How do we follow that? I'm busy thinking, we're great at bringing things together, aren't we? So maybe if you want an unexploded bomb to blow up a digger that you can't get out, contact the Southwest Peat Partnership. So we've had the two Ronnies. Some of you be familiar with that famous South Yorkshire duo, the Chuckle Brothers. So do a bit of a to me to you here. Hopefully, many of you know Moors for Future Partnership. We're part of the Peak District National Park. We operate in the Peak District National Park and then up towards the South Pennines. And we're very lucky to be joined together with other 6 peatland partnerships in the Great North Bog. The Moors for the Future Partnership has been around for 20 years. And I think the latest tally was about £50 million of restoration done so far during that time, and 250 hectares of moorland restored. And I hope I've got that right because my boss is at the back. And I've only joined quite recently, so that's why there's 2 of us. Right, so I'm just going to set it up really and start the story. Here we are on a wonderful sunny. What can possibly go wrong? What can possibly go wrong? Here we are in the Southern Pennines somewhere. We won't be giving away locations or names with this interesting agenda. And before I start, just say, just give you a free one. One of the things that I think a lesson learned for me was last night is don't drink all the free red wine. But this is probably a more pertinent one. So this is a site, doing our usual business, and then I'll over to Chris.
So it's a water company owned site. It's got agricultural tenant and sporting rights are owned as well. So it's managed for Grousemore. Had a large restoration project underway, sort of 3 years, funded through the DEFRA England Nature Climate Peatland Grant Scheme. Thank you. So work's going well underway. It's kind of various difficulties, some of which have been previously discussed, I guess, are similar aspects, but going well. The main contractor had a subcontractor appointed for the sphagnum planting. We had sort of like 500,000 sphagnum plugs or something sort of over the project being planted across the site. And we had some volunteer days as well, which is really great. Counted towards the sort of match funding side of things as well, the kind of their volunteering time, which was great, and really, really good engagement. And relationships are good. With the tenants, the landowner, gamekeeper, keen for the work, and so going well.
When suddenly,
these photos aren't. The real events.
We did have photos of the real event.
Yeah. An employee of one of the subcontractors was caught poking around where they shouldn't be, and stealing from the gamekeeper's property, which you can imagine is kind of potentially sort of fairly disastrous relationship. Kind of incident, they were captured on CCTV, and this was sort of early to mid March. We've got kind of a pretty hard end of March deadline for a project. We had an awful lot of work still to do in those last few weeks. It was kind of all going full steam ahead, and this was the last few weeks of the project funding. So maybe either get it done or it doesn't happen. So how do we, just in terms of like trying to manage this and salvage the project, salvage relationships, kind of things where how quickly the news gets to the people that need to know and need to be involved. Kind of liaising with the gamekeeper and the contractors and the subcontractors, and obviously there's sort of chains of communications that need to be kind of observed and respected, but also kind of making sure that stuff happens quick enough and the right people are speaking soon enough. It's really grateful to get a lot of support from the rest of the more teacher team, senior team, project manager, and and Ted and Matt as well. So that was really useful. And then trying to work out what's actually happened, what evidence have we got, what steps do we need to take, suggesting go to the police and presenting that evidence, and how do we make this good, and what steps do we take across the sort of rest of our program. We've got a lot of other works happening on other sites. Quite a number of them are keepered. Gamekeeper community is quite tight knit, and word spreads fast. So trying to manage like sort of wider implications.
So really for us, I think it's wonderful to be here, with a really focused group of people interested in peatland restoration. And suddenly you realise that in wider society, other stuff's going on, isn't there? There's some politics around what goes on and how we manage our moorlands, and suddenly these political things come crashing in slightly unexpectedly. From our point of view, I felt incredibly lucky to have a really experienced team with a good track record and very good working relationships with all landowners and land managers, irrespective of their political spectrum. Moors for the Future will work with anybody. If you're interested in moorland restoration, we will help you to do moorland restoration. And protecting that line was really, really important. And I think also focusing on the human story here. This was an individual gamekeeping family who had quite a nasty incident happen in and around their isolated home that really shouldn't have happened. So we focus on that. We don't get into the politics of restoration or shooting or anything else. And then we get out and we communicate that quickly. The potential for really big reputational damage here, and us being prevented from going on to similar moorland estates to do restoration work, was incredibly high. I'm really hoping, and actually over the next year, 5 years, we will see how well we have managed to mitigate this damage. But I think those strong relationships with all landowners and the gamekeeping community generally, and a quick and positive and pretty robust response to this incident has settled this down. But I can't express how important it is to have a really unified and joined up team. Some really, really good people like Chris working on the ground, responding quickly. And really, my job was simple: to go and talk. This is the National Trust. We could have been dragged badly into some poor press here, talking to our legal team, talking to our comms team, and getting that network out, just to see this as it is, an isolated incident, and then how we move forward from that is really just we've talked about it already, those really close relationships with contractors, and just really asking them, you can't not employ somebody for their political views, but you can act very quickly, and you can look them in the eye and say, we're about to go on to this moor. This is what happens on this moor. Have any of you got a problem with that? Because if not, maybe we'll put you on another job. But even then, people don't have to speak up. So lots of lessons learned, and I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, so pretty shocking actually, and really respect you guys coming and telling us about something like this. So this was because this was a grouse moor. That was the motivation for this individual. You suspect?
I think we that's our understanding, okay. And there was some voices that were saying we should have picked that up earlier, but this was employment through a subcontractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Thank you very much.